get this up? There we go. All right, guys, we're doing another cooking. We're doing Betty. I am making breakfast before I have to get started on my actual work for today. We just got off a live on our main channel, and now we're making some biscuits and gravy. I'm trying to sort of, if I can get this off. I don't like my hands touching the meat, so I got to be very careful. Otherwise, I got to get gloves. Something about meat on my fingers that don't make me feel good. So I hope everybody's doing well. I don't know how many people are going to get the notifications. We haven't been on this channel in a really long time, but we are learning information, and I forgot to go over it on my live this morning. So we're going over here because this guy right here is James. This is Rebecca's brother, and he's right now in jail, I think for 50 years, if I'm not mistaken, for setting up his girlfriend. His girlfriend was allegedly found in a bathtub with a single bullet to her cranium, and it was staged to appear to be a self-harm event. Okay, guys, did you guys follow that? Basically, he tried to set it up like she committed suicide when it was really a homicide. So that's what we're learning, and this is Rebecca's brother. So it seems, you know what this is starting to seem like for me? Do you guys remember Leilani Simon? I know some of you guys weren't with me during that time. Let me turn you guys around so my lighting's a little better. There we go. I think that lighting's a little bit better. Well, Leilani Simon's brother, see, her son's name was Quentin Simon. Quentin was her brother's name, her real brother's name, and she named her middle child after her brother. But her brother was in jail for unaliving this girl's cousin. We met the girl out there when we were advocating for Quentin Simon in front of Leilani's house. But this is kind of reminding me a lot of that case, in part because I felt that both Leilani Simon and her brother, Quentin, were abused. Not just physically abused, but were really abused. Their mother, Billie Joe Howe, was on a lot of substances. She was a C-head, CRA, you guys get it. C-head, she did horrible things. She abused her children. She had her children taken away from her herself. And then she allegedly tries to get her life together, which she didn't. She just got her addictions under control enough that she could be employable, and ended up being going and becoming a welder. Welders make an awful lot of money. Whether you're on substances or not, welding is a craft and a skill that not too many people have. So they're willing to deal, as long as you show up and you do your job. You're probably not getting tested at your employers because, again, as long as you're showing up and doing your job and not injuring anybody, that's really the requirement, you know, because it's a skill not too many people have. So she was able to get this lifestyle. I still think there was some funny business going on. I think she was hiding some money, and I actually think she was slinging some stuff, BJ, because I still can't figure out how she was able to amass such wealth in such a short amount of time when she used to be a prostitute on the side of the road. You see what I'm saying? In 10 years, she managed to have multiple properties. I'm sorry. I can tell you I've been working on myself for a really, really, really long time. And the only way I would be able to have the lifestyle that they have in the amount of time that they've had is if I was doing some shady stuff. Just saying. That's my opinion. Hello, Melanie. It's nice to see you guys. So we're going to get into this guy right here. His name's James. Where's my other phone? I've got them pulled up. We're going to be making breakfast, so it's going to be kind of like a hit or miss thing, but we're just going to learn a little bit of new information. Now, there's not a whole lot that you can find on him without paying. Like the Desert Sun is a subscription. Some people have paid the subscription and have put the information up here. But I'm going to go to a different site. It doesn't really have a whole lot of pictures, but we don't need pictures. We need the details as opposed to the pictures. If you guys are hearing something sounding like it's frying, it is. I am making biscuits and gravy, but because I am working on keeping my my grocery bill down, I'm starting to cook just for each meal. I don't want any leftovers. That has been my goal here lately, to see if I can truly downsize on how I cook so I'm not wasting so much food. So I'm actually only using a half a tube of sausage this morning. I can't break it. I didn't get frozen biscuits, so I got, next to fake biscuits. Those are canned biscuits in my world. And those come in you can get a can of 8. So I figured the biscuits can go with dinner, so I can use the biscuits for other than breakfast. So we will be using all of the 8 biscuits somehow in the next 24 hours, so I justify making the whole can of biscuits. If that becomes a problem, then I might have to start considering buying a half a can of biscuits instead of a full can of biscuits. But I really do like the frozen biscuits because it comes in 20 and you can cook 2, you can cook 1, you can cook 2, you can cook the whole damn bag if you want to. But it gives you more of the ability to only grab 2 biscuits, or like this, where I'm going to make gravy enough for 4 total biscuits split in half, 1 meal for Glenn, 1 meal for myself, and this should be enough to be able to accomplish that. Okay, now that we're getting back on track, just to give you guys, because I know you guys are so curious about my day, especially some people on this app. I want to make sure that they get their money's worth. Get their money's worth. Aw, thank you, Melanie. 2 months as a bedhead. I love the names over here. We got to change the names over on the other. We've got them still, the coffee. I think maybe that's what we'll give. Ooh, that's what we'll do. I've been trying to find something to give away a deception deck for a really long time, and I haven't came up with the project that would justify a $79 price tag for a deck of cards, the deception deck. And maybe that's it. Maybe we need to revamp our names again. We went to light roast, medium roast, and stuff like that for the last drawing for the names. But I think we should probably do it again because we've grown leaps and bounds since we changed. Because we used to be the standard platinum, gold, silver, bronze plan, and I'm like, that is so yesterday. I'm not doing that. And because we were so hot and heavy into our 5 a.m. coffee club, we decided to keep it, coffee bound related. And so we ended up having light roast, medium roast, espresso, and something else. And maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we'll do the little thing and see if we're going to change the levels on the main channel. That would be fun. I think that would justify a $79 card deck of cards. No? All right. So this guy right here is James. I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher the name. Bashausen maybe it might be. At the time, this article is from 2018, so he was 35 at the time, which I'm probably confident that this was probably what he looked like at this time. Very beautiful girl. She looks so sweet. Look at that smile on her face. This is Jalen Amanda Keith, and she was 27 years old. So there was about an 8-year age difference between James and Jalen. So Keith, which is her last name, so when I say Keith, it's not referring to a third party or a different type of man. It's referring to Jalen. Well, maybe I'll just replace it. So Jalen was found with a single gunshot wound to the center, right there, to the center of her forehead in the bathtub. We know that is not how people do it. It's this, and it's this. Women typically, I will tell you this, I think it's becoming a little less common. Let me turn my oven down, my stove down just a little bit, because I still got some time on my biscuits. Yes, I still got some time on my biscuits. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job because I didn't even put the biscuit timer on. So guys, remind me in 10 minutes I need to check the biscuits. Somebody set their 10-minute timer. Make sure you put red stop signs, red stop signs in the chat so I don't burn my biscuits. So they're saying that it was in the center of her forehead in the bathtub of the Bernardino Road apartment the couple shared. Prosecutor says Bishasson shot her in the head and actually staged the scene to appear as if she committed self-harm, i.e. suicide. But it was all staged. I find this interesting because we also believe that this little boy that is missing is, you know, the whole thing related to this abductor in the Big Five parking lot. We're not believing that. But this is starting, you know, it's so weird when we start in on these cases, how many of these cases actually have little details of one another. You know, just little details. So it says today the judge denied Bishasson's new trial. He was trying to go for a new trial and delayed his sentencing due to timing constraints. Both sides expressed their frustration with Monday's court proceeding. Jalen Keith's loved ones were upset the sentencing didn't happen, and Bishasson's family is still fighting for his innocence. So now we have a situation where we have two siblings, much like Leilani Simon's, the Simon family. Two siblings. One that's already convicted and serving a sentence, again, much like Quentin. And I can't remember what Quentin's name is. I don't know if it's Simon like her or if it's Pal like his mother, unless that's her married name or whatever the case may be. But we do have a similar hit from that case. And so we do have an experience of dealing with a family. And guess what it told us? It told us that children were abused as children. So I believe Leilani doesn't give them an excuse. There's a lot of abused people that don't take it out on anybody else, don't murder people, don't hurt their children. So we don't give people like that a free pass when they do things like this. But we also are trying to find out the truth. And part of the truth is being honest about the situation we're dealing with. And part of that truth is we have two siblings now that have some major charges that they shouldn't have, but it's known to the family. So if one sibling can do it, it doesn't necessarily mean the other sibling would do it. But how ironic is this, where we have two siblings doing terrible things? But the difference is I truly don't believe, and I could be terribly, terribly off base, and you all know that. I don't believe that Rebecca actually harmed the child or the children. I think she's an abused woman that has stood by her abuser's side, which we see often, but we just, when we see it, we don't accept it, but usually it's just the adult. Right? It's just the adult dealing with it. And not that it's okay, but we can't make decisions for adults. But what we do have control over as a society is that if children are exposed to this nonsense, we have the ability to remove those children out of violent homes. And here we have a history of violence now on both sides of the family. No? So before we were just looking at the violence perpetrated by James, the father of this child. Not that we believe James by any stretch of the imagination, but we know about his violent tendencies. We know he's already been convicted in 2018 of willful cruelty to humans, a child. Willful. It was denoted, it was willful. That means he intentionally inflicted those pains on those children. And then now we're learning that the mother has a biological brother in jail for committing homicide and staging the scene. And this is the woman that lost her life at the hands of Rebecca's brother. Similar details, different story, different names. But I think what we're feeling, some of us creators are feeling this family has it in their blood. Staging is in their DNA. That's a good point, Lisa. That's a good point. And that's the most problematic of all of this, in my opinion, is the fact that we have an entire family on both sides that are accustomed to this kind of lifestyle. They're accustomed to violence. They make excuses for violence. They dismiss violence. The grandmother, mother, or whoever she is for Rebecca, I'm pretty sure she stood in the same spot and said, my child couldn't have done that. My son couldn't have done that. They're making up misinformation. And now she's doing the same song and dance for her daughter's husband. For her daughter's husband. She's doing the same song and dance for him and her. The same grandmother that is trying to get a new trial for this Yahoo right here. And this is the brother. How can one family be so desensitized to violence? The entire family. Because I truly believe this is the cycle that repeats itself. They had violence in their upbringing. They're bringing violence into their upbringing. Prior families prior to this had violence in their upbringing. It's this vicious cycle of abuse that is accepted by this family and explained away. And every year, more of their family gets more desensitized to this as they just recycle themselves to the abuse. That's the only thing that I can really equate that I'm seeing for us to have similar scenario in Leilani Simon's life, her history, the time with her mother, the foster care system. I think we're going to, as we dive deep into this family, I think we're going to find there's been a history of violence throughout these upbringings of all these generations of people, because I think it's just recycling the same kind of garbage over and over again. Except every other family, the violence didn't take somebody's life, but they also weren't beating the shit out of a 7-month-old baby either. And I think that when that's the part that many people are forgetting when it comes to this family, is that this was a baby. This wasn't a 5 or 6-year-old. This wasn't an adult. This wasn't a teenager. This wasn't an adolescent. This was a precious baby that was very delicate. Bones and brain and vision are not even at its full capability. This child is still developing just normal functions. 7 months old. This child had what they referred to as a lazy eye. But we saw photos of this child much younger, and that lazy eye was not readily apparent. My understanding is a lazy eye is a lazy eye. You don't wake up one day with a lazy eye. Maybe I could be wrong. And maybe the lazy eye maybe they did wake up one day and it was lazy. Maybe it was after the child hit a wall. I don't know. We have to talk about that because we know there was violence in this house, and why this woman stayed with this man, honestly, is beyond me. I don't understand how she could. Yeah, I guess that's kind of stupid. Yes, we do. Yes, we know exactly how she could. We see it all the time. We see it all the time. You know, and a lot of people in the last show even brought up Adam Montgomery, and that's a good example because I truly believe Kayla, maybe it was Kayla, or whatever her name is, I believe she was an abused woman as well. But I also believe she put herself into that abuse so she could have substances. I think she was okay with the abuse as long as she was, you know, she did that kind of, you know, to herself. It's the penis, like you said yesterday. Exactly. But, you know, we pray and hope that women that are being abused put their children's lives before theirs. And this is just a mother that doesn't have the strength to do that. I hope she knows that this law enforcement body, they want the truth. And I've got to think that any law enforcement body wants the culprit in jail, not a woman that's had her fair share of abuse herself. You know, I mean, they're going to have to charge her for she did a lot of mistakes. You know, she lied to law enforcement multiple times. But I'm certain if she's honest with them and tells them that she was in fear for her life and just starts coming clean and puts some distance between her and Jake, I truly believe law enforcement will take that into consideration. And I'm absolutely confident if they feel that any of her behavior was a direct result of this abuse she was undergoing at that home or the terror and fear she must be feeling, I'm certain that they would be willing to do the right thing and give her a plea deal. But when she's doing no different than what this monster is doing, that's exactly what she's going to get in return. I'm having a hard time with this hunger. I'm not sure what hunger you're talking about. Oh, VA, did I tell you I like you? Did I? Oh, this is for VA. This is for VA. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, we're not done yet, VA. If you only lived in Florida. If you only lived in Florida. I'll do this right in front of you. If you only lived in Florida. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not opposed to company. I do like people. I just don't like a lot of people, but you're lucky, VA. I like you. I like you. Oh, you know what we could do if we really want to make it look special? If we really want to make it look special, look like I took some care. I took some care with it. Give it a little bit of color. Just a little bit of color. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that. Ta-da! Don't say I never gave you guys anything. I'm stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. VA says he doesn't like me no more. He's like, I'm done with you, Betty. I'm done with you. You're mean. I know you live in PA. You're lucky. I don't go to PA. You know what? I don't have nothing really bad or good to say about PA because outside of Caitlin Harp's case, we've got no experience in PA. Danilo Cavalcanti, it seemed like law enforcement was willing to have, content creators and people broadcasting as long as they stayed out of their way. They were, it seems like Pennsylvania is by, I'm on choke saying this. I'm starting to get hot. I'm starting to get a little, lightheaded. Woo, woo, woo. But, as opposed to Tennessee, this is going to be hard for me to say. Oh my gosh, I'm getting lightheaded. I'm going to have to sit down. Okay, I got me something holding me up. They seem to be actually not bad in the law enforcement area. When do we ever complain about PA? I'm just saying. And I don't like their governor at all. I got a lot to say about that governor, but you know what? It's not about crime. Unless we're in Philly. Then we got some problems. But, it's not widespread is all I'm saying. Kind of, sort of. I'm just not in Pennsylvania. I'd have to think that if they were really horrible with crime, I would be in PA more. So, Melanie, you do have that. I don't like their taxes there. I think you guys are getting screwed all over the place. But it has nothing to do, I'm not in there because of the widespread crime throughout the entire state. We're looking at Tennessee, and these are communities that are like backwoods, mountain communities. There shouldn't be any problems going on there. They shouldn't be having all of these violent crimes. It's a beautiful area of the country. It's not a city problem. And yet we have more violence in Tennessee than we do in the better parts of PA. There's no possibility of that being right. But, I have a lot of complaints about PA, but one of them is not us being in there with all these unsolved cases. That's the one thing I can honestly say. So I love Melanie. I'm glad I got an opportunity to see her, but it's just one of the states that we're not in very often because they have stuff pretty much, they're either keeping a lot of crap quiet from the public or they're just not having what we're dealing with in some of the other states that we're dealing with. I'm all about privacy and keeping our government out to an extent. And even then, I am a hypocrite to my own, some of my own stances because I understand the need, So I want the government out, but, in a piece of me doesn't, because I'm not breaking the law, doesn't mind them watching other people, But you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I have to understand that. And if I had to have the choice of safety over privacy, I would personally, for myself, choose privacy. That's why I have the Second Amendment. Because I don't need to rely on my law enforcement. Right now I do. But typically, hopefully this is getting over with soon, I don't have to rely on law enforcement to take care of me. I can take care of myself. If I need to call them, I'm calling them. I'm not taking the law into my own hands, but I'm not going to be 100% reliable for somebody to take care of me because my experience shows me nobody's going to take care of me like I can take care of myself. Nobody cares about my life more than I care about my life. Nobody cares about my family like I care about my family. Yeah, they'll do their job. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is our responsibility to take care of ourselves. Machete, karate. I do still have the machete. They can't take that away from me. And I still have my damn paring knife, okay? And the only thing that has to worry about my paring knife is obviously the sausage. And I get that might be all-encompassing. But nobody will ever know that. I'm just saying. We are anti-sausage here unless it's on my biscuit. Sometimes I even crack myself. I need to step away here. That brought me to tears. Hold on. Let me compose. That was unprofessional, Betty. Good gracious, woman. I'm just saying. No, sure. that's another charge, don't you know? Don't you know that was directed at somebody? Oh, good gracious. Can't just be satire. Don't worry, my paring knife stays home. No sausage is safe. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Let's test this out. Let's see if I made this in accordance with half my recipe. I kind of threw it together. I don't even know how it tastes. It looks like the sausage gravy might be just a tad bit too runny for me, but I might need to put just an extra smidgen of flour in here. Let's check. It's very good. I don't like the green onions on it. I don't like onions in my biscuits and gravy, but it looked pretty. But let me just move them on out of the way. That's good. That's actually good. Now I'll go make Glenn a plate. It's still cooling. His will be a little bit thicker gravy because he's got cold gravy. That's really good. But you guys know I'm a master at biscuits and gravy. So if it's bad, there's no excuse for that. If I have bad gravy, that's my own fault. And I tell you what, ever since I started making that short ribs, I tell you what, I won't drink another, or I won't eat any more brown gravy. Every brown gravy that I make from scratch from here on out is going to have a tablespoon or two of red wine. I don't know what it does. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now we're back. Let's finish up this article here so I can get you guys on your way. I've got a lot of legal stuff I've got to. Oh, I think I did read the rest of it. Oh, here's some more information. It says, I know this is from the grandmother that's backing Rebecca right now. I know my son is innocent, and I will continue to fight for him. Does Mary, I've got a serious question for you. No disrespect intended here. But do you ever get sick and tired of saying the same things over and over and over for your kids? There's only one way children get like this, and that's because you failed to hold them accountable as children. Did you raise your children, Mary, or did somebody else raise your children? That's why I don't want to assume anything. I'm saying this from a place of love. Because if you did not raise your children, why? And if you did raise your children, why is it so difficult for them to be held accountable? And why do you keep coming to their defense when this keeps happening inside your family? At what point, Mary, will you start coming to Jesus and realizing your family is in crisis? And I know you're older now, but you need to decide how your family got there. And you need to start working with the rest of your family so this doesn't happen and you guys can end this violent cycle that you've all been living in. Looks like for generations and generations. That's just my opinion. I don't know your story, Miss Mary. I just know that this ain't looking right from my purview. So that's what Mary said about James, her son. There's new evidence. There's a lot of new evidence. But as you guys know, they failed to take it up. They obviously didn't believe it rose to his innocence. She believes an in-depth look at Jalen's mental health was overlooked. I think a lot of mental health is being overlooked in this family, including, unfortunately, this mother. During court, the prosecutors asked the judge to review a Facebook post from Bush. I said his name right the first time. Now I can't say it again. Buchanan. I can't remember how I pronounced it. Whatever. The brother who had been allegedly harassing the victim's loved ones. So even after all this, this Yahoo here can't just. If he had no part of his girlfriend's demise, why is he harassing the family? Why isn't he just understanding people? They're hurting. That's what people don't, I don't know. I don't know. Usually people that are innocent, they understand that even when families are pointing the finger at them and they're heartbroken that they think that it's a possibility, Buhassan. Bukhassan? I can't. How did I say it the first time and I can't say it now? It's like the whole word went boom, gone. Bushassan. Go back up here. Lisa B always. Is it Bukhassan? Is the H silent? Bukhassan? Bukhassan? Bushhassan. Thank you. Just put the Bush beer in front of it. Everybody knows that one. Bushhassan. Hopefully I got this right. And I think that is Bushhassan. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bushhassan. There we go. Bushhassan. So Bushhassan, let's see, I was going to stand up, but I didn't, oh wait, no, I was down here. It's a felony. It doesn't do Mr. Bushhassan, our defendant, any good. This conduct continues. Don't be surprised if you find yourself in handcuffs, the judge said about him at that court hearing. I was going to stand up, but I didn't want to make a spectacle. I'm not that kind of person, but they're pushing me to say something, and I will. I will address the court, Bushhassan's brother said in response to the harassment allegations that were mentioned during court. According to Mary, the social media feud started with Keith's close friends, which is Jaylyn. Keith is Jaylyn. Close friends who in return are claiming the harassment from Bushhassan. Now it's going to be a problem because I'm overthinking it. Brother continues in the courtroom. He did the hand signal symbolizing gun. So Grandma, Miss Mary, don't give me no more bull crap. We're seeing exactly the thugs that you are raising. You didn't teach your boys any common sense? Oh, don't even play with me, Miss Mary. You got one of your sons up in court symbolizing a gun symbol? Baby, if you didn't smack that boy in the back of the head when he did that, I have a problem with your parenting, ma'am. See, my mama taught me manners. He did the hand signal symbolizing a gun to his face, pretty much blowing your head off, a family friend of Keith said. They threatened their lives. That's what they did. So Mary, your son takes one of their lives and your other son threatens their lives, and now you got a daughter that's missing a child? It's everybody else. All three of your kids. Lady, I think you're the problem. We have a mother dearest. Guys. Sorry, not sorry. Wow. The sentencing for Bushhassan, there it is, Bushhassan. I remembered it now. Bushhassan is scheduled for October 1st, 9:30 a.m. at Larson Justice Center. We all know that he was ultimately found guilty, and I believe his sentence, if I'm not mistaken, is 50 years. He didn't get life, which is a shame, because look at all of the stuff he did. He took her life, staged, lied. This man should have gotten life in prison. Mary, you were lucky. We had mercy for one of your children. I'm not sure if we're going to have mercy for a second one of your children. especially one that's not even seeking mercy. I don't think anything's going to really happen to her daughter. I mean, I think her daughter's going to spend some time in jail. I think Rebecca is going to end up getting prison over all of this. But I think they will, without a doubt, take into consideration the fact that she is a battered wife. And I pray to God it doesn't make them go too lenient on her because of that. Because at the end of the day, she's culpable. She helped cover up her 7-month-old child. There are just some things that are forgivable in this world, and they're just things that aren't unforgivable in this world. We need to find witnesses that were at the game. That is true, Pippi. Guys, maybe I need to do this on my main channel and not on here. Maybe I'll do it on TikTok. TikTok, I have a way to get out in front of a lot more people, thousands, tens of thousands of people, as opposed to these platforms like the YouTube platform. So maybe I'll put out a call to action on TikTok. We'll put out a call to action on our Facebook group. If you guys find anybody, if they're willing to talk to me, I'll keep their information confidential if that's what they need. I'm happy to, we need information, and I'd rather get it from reliable sources. So if you know of anybody that has been out at this game, if you know anybody that was a witness or what they may have saw there at the game, and they'll be willing to speak to me either off the record or on the record, I'm absolutely wanting to hear their stories. So if you guys find that, send that to me. If you find people that were either out there or family members of them, just send me their name. If you're uncomfortable reaching out to them, I'll reach out to them. I mean, the worst thing they're going to say is, no, I don't want to talk to you, or just not respond to me. That's pretty much it. So I'm perfectly fine. Check messages. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, here we go.
Investigators are now leading a chat here at the residence for Emmanuel Haro, who was reported missing on the 14th of August. New development, and I have video footage. Rebecca, in fact, had that black guy on the 3rd. The black guy that she said she got hit, we have video footage from August 3rd when it was brand new. Homie, she had an appointment at a local establishment in.
Okay, so this is a good find because we all believe, you guys don't know what this is all about. Let me get the right photo up that will place nicely on here. Give me just a second. I may have to go back just a tad bit to find one. Here we go. Oh, it's not in the right dimension and it's cutting off her eye. Hold on a second, I've got one. I'm almost confident I got one. Let's hope. Let's hope. I think it's this one. There we go. So this right here is the black eye, okay? Now, I want you guys, this black eye is much older than what we think. And it was apparent to me whenever I was looking at that chart last night on Justin for All's channel, because it skipped 3 and 4, days 3 and 4. So there's not much changes in the bruising from 3 to 4. That's what it tells me. And then it jumps down to days 5 through 10. And when I looked at the bruise on the 5 through 10, I thought it was still a lot heavier than this, but I didn't want to believe that this child had been missing that long. But I truly do believe that this altercation is what led to the demise of this child. I don't know why I feel that way. It's not anything that I've seen. It's just, I think from reading everything I've read, it's just giving me this gut feeling that this altercation happened at this time. So they're saying that this black eye was fresh on the 3rd. So that range that was on Justin for All's panel from 5 to 10, this is over 10 days old. So it's possible this child has been missing for a couple of weeks unless we can find a proof of life or a third party different from that. Because if nobody's seen this child since August 3rd, or before August 3rd, or around August 3rd, then we've got a good indicator. It's concerning if that baby wasn't at the game August 3rd, might be concerned. Well, the baby may have, if there was an August 3rd, are you talking about the most recent? Because the most recent, I believe, was August 14th. But if they were there if there was a game August 3rd and she had some bruising on August 3rd, yeah, we do believe, Maurice, we do believe that it was a hoax related to the kidnapping. Nobody saw the attack in this parking lot, this large parking lot. It sounds like they produced, somebody has produced a video showing these parents in that store a week or so prior to this situation where somebody broke into their car. And when they went in to report it, they were trying to get the video footage to turn over to law enforcement. And what they found was there was no cameras in the parking lot. But they learned that a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, because you know how rumors are, there might be some truth, but the dates might be off just a bit. But it sounds like they knew that there was no cameras in that parking lot because of an incident that had nothing to do with this that happened previously, where they learned there was no cameras in that parking lot. And I think just out of the top of her head, she knew to go back to that parking lot, thinking that there was no cameras, but not thinking about all the cameras she was passing to get there. Because I don't believe she stood in that parking lot for damn near an hour. I think she pulled in, she composed herself, got out, and played the part. Because that's kind of how I see people that aren't into acting, that aren't into this, that think that they're safe by not having cameras. I'm putting all of those metrics in here, and it tells me that she most likely wouldn't have been playing the part too long because she never thought cameras were on her to begin with. She knew that the cameras were not going to be on to her until she was inside that store. So who knows how long she's been out there, but those traffic cameras will tell us. And again, that's only if law enforcement chooses to tell us. But wow, to find out she has a black eye long before this, the same black eye she's sporting right now that everybody noticed immediately was in a lengthy stage of healing. That means that it had happened days prior. I said 1 or 2 days, and people in my chat, they corrected me. They're like, no, this is not 1 or 2 days old. They said, nope. This is definitely 3 to 5 or more. That's what they told me. If you guys don't believe me, go back and look at you guys can see it. I have on the lives now, not when I'm like this, but on my regular lives through OBS, we have the chat going up here. You guys can read it. So people said, nope, not it. Mm-mm. He's familiar with the system. That's why he had her lawyer up. Yeah, he's a criminal. He's a violent criminal that has no business being here. Let's be honest. You guys may not like some of the things I say, but that's the truth. This child would not be deceased. As a matter of fact, this child would never have even been born, let alone be dead, if our government system followed its own rules. This would not even be a situation right now. As unfortunate as, I'm not trying to be heartless or anything, but would we rather not even bring a child into this world so they don't have to be? I mean, I'd rather... if we look at the reality of it, this child should have never been born to be killed or murdered. That's the only thing. You know, we always look at, well, if he wasn't out on the street, this death wouldn't happen, right? Austin Drummond, a prime example. Well, the same goes with him. If he wasn't out on the street, this child would never have been conceived. He should not have been out on the streets. Can we all agree when you injure a child to the point of brain injury, you probably should have a very lengthy prison sentence, no? Because from where I'm sitting, I would like to know that people that injure children to the point of injury, lifelong injury, I want to make sure that they're behind bars for a significant amount of time. So if we were to apply that to this, then as unfortunate as it is, If the laws were followed, this child would have never been conceived to be here, to be murdered. It all starts, every time we come to these cases, one thing that we're finding out is most of these people that cause these crimes should have never been out. But then we also have the polar opposite of that, like in that guy from Massachusetts that's still on the run, the 6-foot blonde hair, blue-eyed guy. What was it? We just did a story on him last week where I found out he's still on the run. They never found the guy. He was a military type guy, but he never even so much as had a traffic ticket. His very first crime was murdering his wife. That's disturbing for me. Not Decker. Decker's another. Well, no, Decker had traffic infractions, and he actually had just had recent traffic infractions where he was in real jeopardy of losing his only form of transportation. He had no insurance, and he was spinning out of control, and he got into 2 wrecks. I truly believe that he had gotten so low, he started either using alcohol or substances because of just the wildness of his behavior at the end. It could have just been full-on meltdown for mental illness, but there's a piece of me that feels like there's another piece to this puzzle that people aren't wanting to talk about when it comes to Travis Decker. And I think that piece might be like an alcohol problem or maybe something different. But again, just my opinion. I got nothing really to support that theory. It's just something I've been, I feel.
San Bernardino, and we will disclose that information further. We are now here at the property where police are now looking for Emmanuel Haro. And you can see here that we are going to get as close as we can here. Such a sad situation where you can see the sheriff department investigators are now here on the property. They have now begun to look for remains of Emmanuel Haro here in Cabazon, California.
I actually, one of the first people that was, I didn't break the story that they were digging up the yard, but because the reporter that broke it put it at the very end of her reporting, nobody stayed to the end of the reporting. So I happened to listen to the whole reporting. I did a live. I produced it on TikTok, and everybody's like, we haven't heard anything about them digging up the yard, and they say we're coming in there. And of course I was called, I don't know why I did that. There was like a half day where I called her Rebecca, and then I went to TikTok and started calling her Rachel, and then came back over here. I think I called her Rachel one time, and when I was on YouTube, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I calling her Rachel? And I wondered how many times I had called her Rachel before I started correcting myself back to Rebecca. But apparently 2 of my videos has her name as Rachel, even though the description that I wrote out says Rebecca. It's just one of those things where I heard myself saying Rebecca, but clearly that wasn't what was coming out of my mouth. I digress. It happens. I didn't even notice it. I had listened to that video 3-4 times before I released it. Never even noticed it. Never even noticed it until somebody said something. But I ended up going and redoing another video to show them the receipts of where I saw it, because everybody had missed the fact that law enforcement was executing search warrants on the home, not only excavating the property, but bringing cadaver dogs out there to assist. And it was just, it was definitely unnerving. Once people realized that my reporting was true, it was going off like hotcakes. There was definitely, they're definitely not listening to these parents. They definitely do not believe their story. And if they're already digging in the ground, that means that something was scented by the dogs. Because usually, now I could be wrong, but my understanding of the process, or how the process typically works, is they bring the dogs out, the dogs hit on spots, and then they proceed to dig those spots the dogs hit on, looking for any type of evidentiary taking it literally layer by layer to see if there's any evidentiary value to it. And that's my understanding. So to hear that they had already started digging in the yard made me believe that there were some hits from those cadaver dogs in their yard. Again, that's a lot of assumption, and I'm assuming a lot, and that may not be how they did this dig at all. They just may have taken the approach that they got the warrant to dig, and they're just going to dig the entire yard until they find the child. I don't know if they could do that, or what a search warrant like that would look like. But it's not the first time I've heard something like that happening. So I don't know how they are doing this, if they're doing this by grid or by scent. And when I say by scent, that means the cadaver dogs are out there identifying the areas to dig. So I guess we'll learn a little more once we hear a little more. But right now, this is all we have. We now know that Rebecca's brother is in prison right now for murder and staging a scene. And this is what we're dealing with Emmanuel. Many of us believe that he was also murdered, and we also believe that they're staging a scene. So, which is what we refer to as a hoax. And the reason why we're using that terminology is because we highly respect the deception detective along with Mike DeMann, and we like to try to use some of the words that they use, so whenever you're on their channel, you're understanding the stuff as well. I'm not an expert in their field, so I'll use the words when I know the words work. And, you know, one of the things we've discussed is her comments about how she was hit and she fell to the floor, not to the ground, not to the asphalt, not to the pavement, to the floor. She was reliving something that happened inside her home. And she was telling that as her factual foundation for the lie. I believe this is a hoax because it has all the makings of a hoax according to the cards in the deception deck. There you go. I would like to see what the deception detective, if he's looking at this case, but I think we have at least 2 interviews that I think he could analyze to give his opinion on. And I know that he usually doesn't really review a case without audience asking him to review the case. So if you haven't been over to his channel in a while, as well as Mike DeMann, has Mike DeMann done anything with the statements on this? I haven't seen. Another person that would be good is Mike DeMann. Get a hold of him, have him review the statements, see what he comes up with. I'd like to see it. We could even send this to the behavior panel because they are they do public interviews, so they haven't hid their faces or their bodies. In this particular interview, we can see the entire body. I love this, and I think that the behavior panel could appreciate being able to see, you know, more than just the neck up. So if you guys get out there, you know, and speak to these content creators like the Deception Detective and Mike DeMann or the Behavior Panel, they very well may take this up and review it, and that could really help the true crime community. But, you know, again, they have audience members just like we do, so they engage with their audience. So if their audience is not asking for these statement analysis or body language analysis, then they're most likely not going to provide them. So go show them some love. You know, start putting the seed in their ear that we have this little 7-month-old baby. There's enough here that we can get at least a you know, an idea of who they are as people from both the linguistics as well as our body language. So, you know, again, it's your responsibility to get these names out there. So why don't you guys go show some love to Mike as well as the Deception Detective, and maybe grease some wheels over there on the Behavior Panel. Who knows? They might be able to take this case up fairly quickly and get us some information that we need to help aid in our investigative reporting of this case as well. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you guys real soon.